Yes, I will take it now.
Okay, 313.
Okay.
368 5623. That's my grandmother's number, but it's a house phone there. So, with me being on house arrest, you can always get in contact with me.
Okay.
Okay, so for the record, I am restating Mr. O's tether restrictions with the new address that's been provided. That is his grandmother's house where he'll be staying. And I believe that's it.
Oh, thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome, and I'm glad that you turned yourself in and made this a lot easier for me. Thank you.
I thank you, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, you all have a good day.
All right, I'll be in touch, Mr. O's.
Take a break. Ready now?
Yes.
Right. Required for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we're on the record. This is People versus Benny James Owen, 2258211. Mr. Owens is charged with one count of weapons carried concealed, day for a preliminary examination. Attorney,
Alexander Churcher on behalf of the people, P86282.
Good morning, Your Honor, Alicia Taylor, Coleman, 256-278 on behalf of Benny Owens and right behind me.
and Mr. Owens, can you state your full name for the record?
Benny James Owen, Senior.
Good morning, everyone. And how are we proceeding today?
At this time, understanding the right to statutory preliminary exam, we wish to look at
Ms. Owens, I'm just going to ask you a couple more questions, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you understand that you have a right to a preliminary examination,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, and that the prosecutor does as well,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, and that if the exam was to be held, they have to show in a probable cause standard that you committed that crime in the city of Detroit,
I understand.
okay? And did anyone worse you promise you anything in exchange for your waiver today?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so with that, I find your waiver to be freely, voluntarily, and understandingly given. So I will have you bound over to Third Circuit Court for your arraignment on the information, which will be February 8th at 9 o'clock, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Anything else? All right. I will have you all sign paperwork here.
you're all set.
Okay, can you call me information?
February 8th, on Zoom.
That's all I'm saying. Okay.
Actually, Mr. Owens needs to sign, right?
Yeah, we got signed it.
I have to sign. Jim's here.
You too, sir.
Madam Clerk, do you mind calling Judge Wagner and letting him know when it's about to get started with my exam?
Judge Wagner?
Yes.
Okay, no problem.
Motion.
He's at 331. I'm done with it. Anybody here know Elijah Johnson?
No, no one, I mean, Elijah Johnson here, but the attorney's not. Mr. Jones or Ms. Jones. Yes.
Oh, okay. This is gonna be a home.
Believe so.
Okay. I'm gonna take 5 minutes back. I just took 5 to press. We're back. Okay. We're on the record, this is people versus Mario Fernando Bueno, 2260355. Mr. Bueno is charged with count 1, breaking and entering a building with intent, count 2, larceny in a building, count 3, malicious destruction of personal property, $1,000 or more, but less than $20,000. This is a habitual offender, third offense notice, today's date set for a probable cause, conference appearances.
Alexander Kirker on behalf of the people, P 86282.
Good morning, Your Honor. David Cripps, P 34972, appearing on behalf of my client Mario Fernando Bueno. I would waive my client's appearance with your permission.
Okay, I will allow for today. Any discovery issues? I know you adjourned it to obtain more discovery. Were you able to get that?
I downloaded all the paper discovery that was sent to me. This, what I need a copy of is the lease between that my client and the complainant had agreed to or signed for the office space that my client is actually being charged with breaking and entering into. I know that according to the investigative report, the officer in charge met with the complainant, who turned over a great deal of paper documents and information. But I think a copy of the lease is absolutely crucial to show that my client cannot break into a location that his name was on the lease.
And Mr. Parker, are you aware of that information?
Yes. If I'm aware that that information is being sought out, I'm not aware if the OSCs are able to obtain the lease at the time.
I mean, see if he or she is in possession of the lease.
I could reach out to the OSC and see if that's something that they she could obtain.
And I'm assuming your client doesn't have a copy of the work electronically
No.
or anywhere.
Well, what happened is he was shut out of his electronic stuff by the complainant to be able to get an ongoing dispute.
So with that information, you still need Mr. Cripps. Do you want another PCC?
Yes,
Okay. When you back? Are you back 438 anytime soon?
I'm going to be starting a trial on Monday.
Oh, Mr. Bueno's checking. Oh, it'll be on Zoom, so you can. Okay. The week should be enough time, shouldn't it, Mr. Becker? Is the OIC have the information?
Yeah, that should be.
Mr. Bueno, go ahead and unmute your device and state your name for the record.
Yes, Mario Bueno.
And Mr. Bueno, we were just discussing another probable cause conference so that your attorney, Mr. Cripps, has the opportunity to obtain one more piece of discovery that he needs to move forward for the case, okay?
Hey, you're gonna have to, hold on one second. I'm sorry, Judge. I'm sorry. Sorry about that.
So 1 week. Attorney Cripps?
Okay,
sure.
sorry about that, Your Honor. Could you please continue?
Yes, Attorney Cripps, we're going to adjourn it for 1 week so that Attorney Cripps can obtain the information that he needs to move forward.
This isn't my phone. I had to use someone else's phone because of the situation, so I didn't know how to turn up the volume. Did you say that we're gonna adjourn until the 8th, or I didn't hear?
February 1st.
February 1st, okay, okay.
I demanded a copy of the lease, just so you know, for the court record.
Is this gonna be 8:30 or 9 o'clock?
8:30.
Okay, so we'll do 8:30, February 1st for another PCC. To get time for Mr. Kirk to see if the OCI has lease that Mr. Cripps is looking for.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, you're all set, Mr. Gwen. I'll see you online on Zoom, February 1st.
Thank you, Your Honor. Take care, bye-bye.
Mr. Cripps and Mr. Kirk, you all approach. We have stated we're not close friends, but when I was in your job, he was with the program for reentry. I do know about this.
Put that in record. We'll just say it's not an issue.
Okay,
Disclosure there.
I hear you.
It's important to put that.
Yes,
So there's no problem.
okay, make sure you all go. Thank you. Okay, we are on the record. This is the People versus Elijah Dante Johnson, case 2260841. Mr. Johnson charged with 1 count of stolen property, receiving and concealing motor vehicle. Day-to-day set for under examination. Appearances.
Alexander Kirker on behalf of the people, P 86282.
Good morning, Your Honor. Alexander Cho with the Neighborhood Defender Service of Detroit, P 85948, appearing on behalf of Mr. Johnson. And with Mr. Johnson.
And Mr. Johnson, can you state your full name for the record, please?
Elijah Dante Johnson.
Thank you. And how are we moving forward today?
Your Honor, at this point, we are looking to waive the exam.
Okay. Mr. Johnson, I'm going to ask you a couple questions, okay? Make sure you speak up so the court can hear you, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Is it your wish to waive your preliminary exam today?
Yes.
Okay, do you understand that you have a right to a preliminary exam?
Yes.
Make sure you speak up. okay?
Yes.
Do you understand that the prosecutor also has a right to the preliminary exam?
Yes.
And that if you were to exercise your right to your preliminary exam, that means that the prosecutor would have to prove at the probable cause standard a much lower standard than beyond reasonable doubt that you committed that crime that I read off the one charge in the city of Detroit. You understand that? Okay, you understand that by waiving your exam, the prosecutor does not have to do that today.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did anyone force you, promise you, or threaten you at all and for you to waive your exam today?
No.
Okay, I find your waiver to be freely, understandingly, and voluntarily given. So I will have you bound over to Third Circuit Court for your arraignment on the information. And that will be February 8th at 9:00 a.m. So across the street at Frank Murphy Hall of Justice, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Anything else?
That is it, Your Honor. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. I'm wondering, I think.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Sir, what's your name?
Hello,
What's your name, sir? Name, what's your name?
Drayshawn Smith.
Oh, Mr. Smith, you're in the right courtroom, but you didn't have audio. So you are not in custody anymore, obviously. So your bond redetermination hearing, I just put that you're not in custody, so it's not necessary.
Okay,
You bonded out, correct?
yes,
Okay, so I just put in there that you're not in custody, you bonded out, so you do not have to stay on the line.
all right, when do I have to, when is my next court date?
Give me one moment, I can tell you.
Thank you.
Back in front of you. Yes, Your Honor. Okay. So Monday is your next court date, Mr. Smith, for a probable cause conference. So you can zoom in, actually zoom in. Your attorney will be present as well, so it'll be at 8:30. Okay?
All right. You gonna be my judge again, or it's gonna be another?
It'll be me.
Okay, thank you. All right.
So January 30th, Monday, 8:30 a.m. on Zoom, okay?
Okay.
All right, you have a good day.
You too.
Thank you.
The start of it, the start of the, call.
Attorney Page, good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing, Madam Clerk?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Judge Sabree, how you doing?
Great, great. Oh, I'm sorry. How you doing? Your Honor, I'm checking in on a matter involving the Watkins. I am a lawyer for the complainant, and I was going to sit in for the examination. The complainant is Michael Humphreys. He should be in the courtroom or should have checked in the last couple minutes.
So I have Demont from Neighborhood Defender Services as the attorney, as his attorney.
No. I'm not the attorney for the defendant. I'm the attorney for the complainant.
Oh, okay. So Mr. Watkins, this case has to be adjourned because Neighborhood Defender's Office services had to withdraw yesterday because they have a conflict with another case they are working on.
Wow, okay. Mr. Watkins should be in the courtroom or walking into the courtroom. So the adjournment date is what?
We did not set a date for the adjournment. Did we give it a?
Yeah, 127.
This Friday, we had it set for a PCC. We did get another attorney for Mr. Watkins, and it'll be 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock, man.
9 o'clock. You want the attorney's name, or you want to wait till Friday?
I don't need.
You're on mute. Attorney Page, you're on mute. Your phone went on mute. I couldn't hear you. Attorney Page, I didn't hear anything you said. Your phone went on mute.
Your Honor, can you hear me?
I can hear you now, yes.
Okay, I just talked to the complainant. He was in the wrong courtroom. He's coming over to court. He indicated that he's going to be out of town on the 27th for a funeral. So I guess you guys can work that out when he gets over there. He'll be in your courtroom in the next 5 minutes.
It's just for a PCC on Friday, so he doesn't need to be here.
Oh, so he can do it by Zoom then, right?
If he's the complainant, he doesn't even need to be present.
Oh, okay then. Great, great. I explained that to him. Okay then, thanks. Bye. Thank you.
We're about to get started. There was technical difficulties with the exam. I would ask to have the meeting at 1:30.
Are you talking to me? Oh.
I sincerely apologize, Your Honor, if I had it at 10. And because of mix up in this court, I wasn't able to do it until 10 to 10. And I was a few minutes late, and I zoomed in.
And for the record, is the people of the state of Michigan versus Julius Jermaine Turner, case 2260900. Mr. Turner is charged with 1 count of controlled substance, delivery, manufacture of cocaine, heroin, or another narcotic, 50 to 449 grams. This is a habitual offender's second offense notice, and a controlled substance second or subsequent offense notice. Here.
Alexander Kirker on behalf of the people, P86282.
Good morning, Honor David Cripps, P34972, appearing on behalf of my client Julius Tremaine Turner's standing behind me. Tell the judge your name.
Julius Tremaine Turner.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And today's set for a preliminary examination. Our parties ready to proceed.
The people are not, Your Honor. We would ask for a brief adjournment in this case, even as short as tomorrow.
The defense would object, Your Honor. My client was arraigned on the warrant back in December 2022. Probable cause conference set before this honorable court on January 6, 2023, in which this date was firmly set for preliminary examination. I don't believe there's been any good cause shown on the record or continuance, so we would ask for dismissal without prejudice.
Your Honor, the officers in this case were calling forth this morning, and they called with the officer in charge who is here, spoke with them. They are holding a scene and waiting for a search warrant in another drug case, and therefore cannot leave that scene and make it to court at this time.
All of them have to sit there and wait for a search warrant? That doesn't make too much sense.
There are 2 officers.
Why can't one be here and the other one come? This is a court hearing. It's obviously much higher priority than sitting on a search warrant.
And officer in charge present, can you state your name on the record?
Brenda Johnson, Brenda Johnson. I'm the reason why. I don't work at that precinct, but they're in the USDA. So they're waiting for the USDA, they're holding the same. I don't know what the situation is that they're holding the same for, but it's just 2 officers. And they're working the start together. And when I called them, that's what they told me. They had been trying to call me this morning to notify that they weren't able to make it.
Holding a scene means just usually, from my experience of reading all these reports over the years, that they sit there. If the U.S. District Attorney is involved, if that's what she's referring to, obviously it's up to the feds to get certain authority to do much to do with it. But anyway, I don't think that that's good cause here.
Okay. I'm going to dismiss without prejudice, So if they, if the people want to, they can. So Mr. Turner,
Yes, ma'am.
you understand that this is being dismissed without prejudice?
That means
That means that the people have the right to reissue this if they wish to. I'm dismissing today because the people are not ready to proceed. You heard that based on the officers not being here, not available. But I'm dismissing it only without prejudice, which means that they have the right to, the legal right to issue these charges again. You understand that?
yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Can I speak more?
I'll talk to your attorney first.
I'm done.
Yes. You wait for me in the hallway, sir.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Here it is.
Okay, we're on the record, this is People versus Martinez, Devon McLean, 2259545. Mr. McLean is charged with one count, of weapons carried concealed today except for a preliminary exam.
Alexander Kirker on behalf of the people, P 86282.
Good morning, Your Honor. Thank you for your patience. Alicia Taylor, Coleman, 25678, on behalf of Mr. McLean, to my rear right.
Mr. McLean, can you state your full name for the record, please?
Martinez, Devon McLean.
Good morning. And are both parties ready to proceed?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, any preliminary matters?
I am asking to present some video for the court. I don't know what the best way to escalate that. On the prosecutor. So in the past, I've been told to zoom in and then share the screen. I don't know how this works.
I haven't had to do it yet. Any suggestions, Mr. Kirk, you probably the most experience on that.
Sometimes we've had everybody just gather around to witness with the laptop and watch the video.
How long is the video? What do you expect?
It's a few minutes. There's two, and both are like maybe 5 to 10 minutes.
If you don't want to stand there and hear everybody, do you know how to zoom in and mute your, and do it without the background, the echoing?
Yeah, I'll probably wait.
Can the court use that? I don't.
Okay. All right. Other.
None from the extent.
Okay, all right, you want to call the first?
This time, the people call Officer Nari Mitchell.
Officer Mitchell.
telling people on to conduct it.
I do.
Okay, have a few, just make sure you speak over the microphone. Whenever you're ready to start.
Morning. Could you please restate your name for the record?
Good morning, police officer Nari Mitchell.
And are you currently employed?
I am
Where are you currently employed?
the City of Detroit Police Department,
And in what capacity?
a police officer,
And how long have you been employed as a police officer?
3 years.
Were you employed as a police officer on September 5th, 2022?
I was,
Did you in fact work on that date?
I did,
Were you by yourself or with a partner?
with a partner,
And what is your partner?
police officer Lydia AR,
Were you on foot patrol or in a scout car?
in a scout car,
Is it a fully marked or semi-marked scout car?
fully marked.
And did your duties as a police officer take you to an area at or near 15901 East Warren Ave?
Yes,
In the city of Detroit,
yes,
county of Wayne?
yes.
And what brought you to that area?
I was on patrol in the area.
And did you observe anything while you were on this patrol?
Yes, sir, I observed a vehicle. My partner advised me that,
Say you're on.
Acknowledged.
You haven't heard what it was yet, but officer, because you said my partner said, council participate, saying something that maybe here's. So.
I was advised that the vehicle did not have insurance.
Objection, Your Honor. Here's that.
Mr. Berger, you read ask the question.
Did you observe anything while you were on this patrol, and please limit your answer to what you observed?
I observed a vehicle.
And what type of vehicle was it?
Can I view my report to refresh my recollection, please?
Oh, can you say that again? I think you.
Can I view my report to refresh my recollection, please?
Can you move back a little bit or?
Close, Graham.
Was reviewing your report, refresh your recollection?
Yes.
And approach, Your Honor. Yeah. What type of vehicle was it?
The Chrysler 300.
And what happened with this vehicle?
I initiated the traffic stop on the vehicle due to it not having insurance for me.
And did you make contact with the driver?
I did. I made contact with the driver.
An individual in the courtroom today that you came into contact with on that day?
I do.
Could you point out that individual and identify an article of clothing they're wearing?
A black top.
Your Honor, let the record reflect the identification of the defendant.
And we're gonna object to the in-court identification, especially if all parties are named.
Can you describe something else that the person you're referring to where?
A blue mask.
Let's see who's under that mask, Your Honor, there's no way you can properly identify that individual.
I can't say whether he can identify him or not, so that's the person he recognizes. That's the person he recognizes.
If I could point there on the in-court identification, then I would say, I recognize somebody with a mask, especially from 3 months, 4 months ago.
You can go out here, you can-
Thank you. Officer Mitchell, you stated you recognize this individual behind it. Besides that date, September 5th, 2022, had you ever been in contact with that individual?
Not that I recall.
And since that date, have you been in contact with that individual?
No, ma'am.
And you have no personal relationship with that individual, is that fair to say?
No, ma'am.
That's not fair to say?
I'm sorry?
Is that fair to say?
That I have not had contact with them?
No, personal.
Oh, no personal.
Okay. And in your report that you made about that incident, you made no significant identifying distinctions in regards to eyes, ATI, or tattoos, or anything that would indicate that you would be able to identify that individual with mask.
Correct.
Okay. And that this individual that you identified today has a mask.
Correct.
So in regards to whether it has a beard or mustache or nothing, you don't know. You decided what you see, maybe a goatee. Is that fair to say?
That is right.
And nothing in your report says that the individual even had hair on their face or anything like that. Is that fair to say?
Correct.
You would object to that court identification.
Any questions based off the one here?
You have contact with this individual on that date.
Yes.
Are you able to remember what the individual looks like?
From what I recognize right now, yes.
Would having the individual briefly remove his mask or lower his mask, that would be okay with the court for the identification?
Well, he just said he's able to identify with the mask on, so I would like him to specify in regards to that.
Well, I'm okay with him removing his mask so that we can either identify him or not. Oh. So Mr. McClain, please lower your mask. And Officer Mitchell, do you recognize this individual?
I do recognize this individual.
Is that the person that you referred to during your testimony when answering questions from Mr. Kirk?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the record reflects that Officer Mitchell has identified the defendant in this case.
And I would still object for the record. And I would thank him.
And what happened after you came into contact with these defendants?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
What happened after you came into contact with these defendants?
I conducted a traffic stop on the vehicle and approached the driver's side where I made contact with them. I identified myself and stated the reason for my traffic stop.
And what were the reasons for the traffic stop?
There's no insurance on the vehicle.
And what happened after?
After introducing myself, for my safety and the safety of the occupants in the vehicle, I asked if there were any weapons in the vehicle, to which they responded no. And then I proceeded.
When you say they, how many individuals were in the vehicle?
There were two, a driver and a front seat passenger.
And both passengers said no?
Yes.
And then what happened?
I requested the driver's license, registration, and proof of insurance.
And did the defendant provide these items?
The defendant provided me with a Michigan State ID, not a driver's license, and an expired proof of insurance.
And what did you do next?
At that point, I asked the individual who the vehicle belonged to. He stated that it was registered to his brother. However, it's his car and he had it for a year.
Objection. I'm having a hard time in regards to that.
And Officer Mitchell, can you stay active here, because the printer, you said, Mr. McClain provided what to you?
He provided me with a Michigan State ID and an expired insurance.
Thank you.
And the defendant then said, who was the vehicle registered to?
He stated that it was registered to his brother. However, it was his vehicle and he had had it for a year.
This was the defendant that said it was his vehicle?
Yes.
And what did you do after the defendant said this?
I observed the offender, his hands were shaking and his stomach was rising pretty abruptly. And at that point, I asked him to exit the vehicle and come to the front of my patrol car where I was going to conduct the rest of my investigation.
And why were those actions?
Through my experience, the bad behavior leads me to believe that someone is nervous for some reason.
I would object to speculation, as Mr. Officer Mitchell stated, he has no personal relationship with this individual, so in regards to, he has a medical condition or anything like that, for him to say, well, it must be nerves, we would reject that speculation.
testifying to what in his experience these actions indicate to him.
I am going to overrule, Officer Rico testify to what he believes, whether it was or not.
And after the defendants were asked out of the vehicle, what did you do next?
At that point, I stood at the front of the vehicle with them, the offender consented to a search of the vehicle.
You asked the defendant if you could search his vehicle,
Yes,
and the defendant said yes.
yes,
And did you conduct the search of the vehicle?
I did.
And what were the results of the search of that vehicle?
While I was searching the back seat of the vehicle, I felt under the seat. And at that point, I felt immediately what I knew to be a trigger guard of a handgun.
And was this based on your experience with firearms?
Yes.
And what did you do after you felt the trigger of the firearm?
At that point, I detained, I notified my partner and I detained the occupants of the vehicle. And then I went back and recovered the firearm.
Did you describe the firearm that you recovered?
I see my report to refresh my recollection.
When reviewing your report, refresh your recollection?
Yes.
Your Honor, may I have a question?
Yes.
Could you describe the firearm?
A black 9mm Glock 17 with an extended magazine.
And at this point, did you ask the defendants if he had a CPO?
I did. I don't recall exactly when I asked if he was a CPO holder.
Did the defendant provide a CPO?
No.
Was a lien search run to determine if the defendant had a valid CPO?
Yes.
And what were the results of that search?
He did not have a CPO.
And was the weapon placed into evidence?
Yes.
Do you recall the evidence tag number?
I don't recall the evidence tag number.
Would reviewing your report refresh your recollection?
Yes.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes. You don't have to ask for the rest of it.
682333-1.
What did you do after the defendant was detained?
After the lien check was conducted and it was confirmed that he did not have a concealed pistol license, he was placed under arrest and lodged at the Trade Detention Center.
And what did you do with the vehicle?
The vehicle was impounded.
No further questions, Your Honor?
Thank you. And we would, regarding the initial part. Officer Linda,
Yes, ma'am.
you made a report of all the things that you felt were important to this incident, is that fair to say?
Yes.
And in your report, you identified stuff that, as stated, is significant for you to recall for the court dealing with this arrest. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
And I know you stated you refresh your recollection. The vehicle was actually a price of 200, correct? Per your report.
Yes.
And you guys were not immediately behind that vehicle. Is that fair to say?
I don't recall when I turned onto the street if I was immediately behind the vehicle or not.
You don't recall if there was another vehicle in front of you before that vehicle? Or
No.
okay. But it's possible. You just don't recall.
I don't recall.
And when you observed that vehicle, there was a steady flow of traffic on eastbound Warren. Is that fair to say?
I don't recall what the traffic was like.
If we could play
Oh, can we screen share? Oh, let me allow it. Let me give you co-host. Do you recall what is on the screen at this time? That area?
Yes, ma'am, it's an area in my precinct.
I'm sorry, area what?
An area in my precinct that I patrol.
Thank you. And, if I were to inform you that this is from your squad car camera, would you agree?
Yeah,
Did you see where you guys made a turn
yes, on the warrant.
onto Warren? Can you back up? Okay, right. And for the record, can you state second wise where the video started that you're showing? It started at 0. Okay. And right here, your video on Berkshire, you are your stop sign, is that correct?
Correct.
And did you stop at that stop sign?
Can you press what?
You said you stopped at.
Stop at the stop sign.
And there were at least 3 or 4 cars that drove in front of you as you were turning to that area.
Yes,
And one of the cars was the silver car.
yes.
Do you recall what order the silver car was in regards to all the other traffic that went?
No,
But as you were turning, you see the silver car turn, is that fair to say?
yes,
You didn't have your lights on or anything like that, is that correct?
correct.
And you stated that you ran a lien or somebody ran a lien in regards to an uninsured vehicle. There, when you run a lien, you have to be able to see the license plate. Is that fair to say?
Yes,
You weren't even behind the silver car at the time that it turned in regards to running the lien, in regards to the license plate. Is that correct?
correct. I did not run the lane.
But you stated that you received information, and that's why you followed that silver car, correct?
That's why I initiated the traffic stop on the vehicle with the information I received.
Right, but when you got behind that silver car, you hadn't,
I hadn't initiated the traffic stop yet.
no, the lien had already been run for you to follow behind that silver car, even though you weren't directly behind it. Isn't that correct?
I don't know if lane had already been run. I did not use lane. I was driving.
Right, but you say that you initiated the traffic stop for no insurance per lien on the wreck. That's what you did.
Correct. That's why I initiated the traffic stop for no insurance.
Okay, and I'm saying in regards to that, you immediately turn onto Warren and you see the silver car turning left and you immediately follow that silver car before even seeing the license plate. Is that fair to say?
Before I saw the license plate, correct.
And once you stop the vehicle, once you pull behind the vehicle, you guys immediately get out of your squad car, correct?
Once I initiate the traffic stop, yes.
You didn't run the lane at that point, correct?
I did not run lane, no.
And you go to the driver's side of the vehicle and speak with the driver who you state, you identified today in court, as Mr. McLean, is that correct?
Yes.
And Mr. McLean, upon you requesting information, attempted to hand you the information that you requested, is that correct?
He did not hand me.
He handed you the document.
Yes.
And, he didn't, he kind of made a comment in a joking way about you stopping. Is that fair to say?
I don't recall.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. We're now changing, we're stopping. That way. Yeah, actually, we're gonna play it a little bit more.
He's doing that, it didn't come back. He's not sharing the screen right now.
And you recognize who's in that screen?
Yes, that's me.
On the record where the video started.
29 seconds.
Was it 39 or 29? I saw 30.
I saw 20.
You started at 29.
And you, both you and your partner, approach the vehicle. You on the driver's side, your partner on the passenger side, is that fair to say?
Yes.
That's your normal process, you learn to traffic stop.
I'm sorry. What I see on the screen is 1 minute and 10 seconds. We're starting. I don't see the same thing you are seeing.
Well, it's been playing that whole time.
All I have is when it starts is that the car being stopped, both officers. Or the car. Is there an issue with just starting from 0 and just playing up until the stop? Okay. Okay. Yes, thank you.
At that point, you clicked your light once you stop, is that correct?
Yes. Initiate
Prior
the traffic stop.
prior to that, your light is not on, is that fair to say?
Yes.
And the vehicle immediately pulled over with your wife. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Now, going to the second, Your Honor, we moved to defense exhibit one. It fairly and accurately represents, your squad car video on that date. Is that fair to say?
Yes, that's my spot.
Any objection?
No.
Okay, submitted.
This video.
Okay, take your time to look it up.
Your Honor, can I be made co-host again?
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Go back.
To the very beginning?
You recognize this on the screen?
Yes.
What is that?
That is my body camera.
And you, it fairly inaccurate represents what your body camera captured on September 5th, 2022.
I'm sorry?
It fairly inaccurately represents what your body camera captured.
Yes.
We would move to that, defense exhibit 2.
No objection.
And we're starting from the beginning.
Yeah.
Internet starts again. It's, Does your body worn camera have, audio?
Yes,
And just, you have to turn it on and off, is that correct?
it can be manually turned on and off, and it can be activated by the lights. The audio usually starts 30 seconds after activation.
After activation?
Yes,
And so the audio, as right now, it's not.
I don't hear any audio.
That might be tomorrow.
Your Honor, is there any, can you see if your volume works or that volume works?
Yeah, it works. We just heard the thing. Came in, so the TV's working, the audio on TV is working.
Okay,
I'm not sure.
because his is working too on his computer.
It takes 30 seconds for the audio to start. It hasn't even been 30 seconds since they activated the lights, stepped out the car. So maybe there is no audio at this point.
I can hear
You
audio.
have audio over there.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So about,
Attorney Taylor Goldman, and I suggest that if you two are already close to each other, just stand right here in front of the officer and hold the laptop. Oh, and I should stand behind the officer and we can watch it. Okay. So I can hear the audio as well.
so about. Officer Mitchell, at that point, the driver is answering your question without issue.
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
Yeah,
So in regards to seeing nervous or anything like that, he's just answering the question.
he was answering my question.
And he's been questioning you, is that fair to say in regards to the stop? Well, I will withdraw that question. And after that point, you inquired of him the paperwork in regards to the vehicle, is that correct?
I inquired what weapons and information about the vehicle.
So before you inquired about the weapons, you inquired about paperwork and told him before you reach for that stuff, is there any way?
Before I ever reach it.
But before you reached for it, you had already asked him for that paperwork, is that correct? And then asked before you reach for it.
I believe I said before I ever reach around for it. I don't believe I asked for it.
You don't believe you asked for paperwork before you reached for the paperwork?
I said before I ever start reaching around for your paperwork. If we could go, can we go back and?
Can you please just request? And just for the record, where we started.
We're starting at. Lower limit. We're starting at 51,000. And you saw as you were doing the video, you could see the driver smiling occasionally and you guys are interacting.
Correct.
I didn't hear that. What time was that?
2 minutes, 20 seconds.
After the driver presented whatever information he presented, at that point, you decided to remove him from the vehicle, is that correct?
Yes.
And he was being detained at that point, both were being detained at that point, is that correct?
Yes.
They were not free.
Correct.
And that was because of the improper paperwork presented to you?
The vehicle did not have insurance and that was provided with the ID and self driver's license check.
And when you initially got to the vehicle, you told all the individuals to stay in the vehicle. You recall that?
I recall on the driver's stand card.
And in regards to Mr. McLean, the driver, he was at all times cooperative in attempting to provide you information, answering your questions. Is that correct?
He was cooperative, correct.
In no way of threat to you or your partner in his mannerisms or actions for your request for information.
I'm sorry?
No threatening manners, furtive motions, or anything like that.
No, no. No, he was not.
And in regards to searching the vehicle, you had no indication that there was anything besides the no insurance and lack of driver's license, any suspicion of any illegal activity in that vehicle, is that correct?
Besides what I observed, which I stated made me believe that he appeared nervous, no,
Okay, so even with him being nervous, that doesn't mean that there's any illegal activity that you believe is occurring in that vehicle. People can be nervous for a variety of reasons. The question specifically is, did you have a suspicion that something was illegal besides no insurance and no license?
I believe by him being nervous, it could possibly mean that there could be something illegal in the vehicle that's not supposed to be there.
You had no indication that there was anything in the vehicle that shouldn't be there. You had no affirmative gestures like anything being hidden or movement or anything like that at that point, is that correct?
Correct.
And in regards to searching the vehicle, you weren't searching the vehicle for the paperwork in which you had obtained Mr. McLean, is that correct?
Correct.
You were searching just because you felt like you should search the vehicle at that point.
The vehicle is going to be impounded anyways because it's not allowed to be on the roadway without insurance.
Okay, at that point, it wasn't impounded, and you hadn't called for it to be impounded, is that correct?
Correct.
And he wasn't under arrest at that point either, is that correct?
Correct.
But you decided to ask him for consent to search, even though he wasn't free to leave, is that correct?
Correct.
And your search, again, for the vehicle was not for additional paperwork in regards to what this stop was about. It was a stop about no insurance. Is that
Correct.
And you were searching for additional paperwork for that stop.
I was searching for any items of importance for the inventory search. It was also an inventory search. As I stated, the vehicle was going to be impounded.
Okay. And in your report, you stated nothing about this being an inventory search, is that correct?
In my report, I did call it a consent search.
That's not the same as
What search did you call it?
In my report, I called it a consent search because I had asked for consent. However, I was going to impound the vehicle.
right, but in your report about what you were doing, you asked consent to search, not as an impound or an inventory search in your report. Is that fair to say?
Correct. I asked for consent to search the vehicle.
And if we could play, is it turn to?
Oh,
We stopped at, what did we say we stopped at?
I have 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Right.
Your insurance is expired. That's what's going to expire.
and you asked him in regards to your search about finding something in the vehicle, is that right?
Correct.
And you didn't have anything, no reasonable suspicion that there was anything in that vehicle at that point, is that correct? He was talking to you, jokingly and all that. No indication that he had any issues with the stop, is that correct?
When I said that, he appeared nervous when I initially made contact with him. That's what made me concerned about that.
Okay.
That there could possibly be something in the vehicle that's not supposed to be.
And after that, he was answering all your questions. And only after the expired license, then you detained him out of that vehicle, is that fair to say?
That is very sad.
And he was still very cooperative in regards to answering the questions and all of that, is that fair to say?
He was cooperative. As I stated, with him being nervous, the body language that I observed when I first made contact with him led me to believe that there could be something in the vehicle that wasn't supposed to be.
Okay, you would agree with me, the body language is much more relaxed at the point that you removed him from the vehicle, is that fair?
When I removed him from the vehicle, he was cooperative, yes.
And at that point, you decided to search for anything else, isn't that what you just stated, Ken?
Correct, anything that should be in there.
And you deposit at 338. At this point, you had informed him that the vehicle was going to be impounded, or that he was under arrest, or that you were doing an inventory search. Is that correct?
Correct.
What did you just do? All right, 351.
That could be me opening the apartment. I don't recall what that was.
At this point, you're just looking for anything illegal. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
You say where's the policy? Are you there?
Yes, please. We policy at 407. Well, you know, we're playing a couple more minutes before the search. And that's you removing the window control of the vehicle?
Yes, ma'am.
Is at this point, you're just looking for any?
Weapons and contraband.
Thank you.
Where was the stop?
4 minutes, 30 seconds. And you continue that more than inventory search. At that point, looking specific for weapons and contraband for a number of minutes. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
And nowhere in the obvious areas in the vehicle, open and obvious areas, the center console or the glove compartment underneath the driver's seat or the passenger seat, did you find a weapon? Is that fair to say?
Not in an obvious area, no.
Okay. And only after you remove the rear seat underneath the rear cushion that is clearly not easily accessible to anybody in the vehicle, did you find a weapon? Is that fair to say?
I don't recall completely removing the seat, ma'am.
In your report, it says you had to lift the seat. Is that fair to say?
As I recall, me doing it, I stuck my hand under the seat.
So where you said you lifted the seat, you put your hand under the rear seat and in the center. So you would agree with me under the rear seat, under the center, would have to be at least a foot underneath in regards to how seats are positioned.
Can you rephrase the question?
You stated in your report that you felt under the rear seat in the center. So not right.
Yes,
at
ma'am, in the
end.
center, right, as you read. So if this is a vehicle and this is a driver's seat or passenger seat, the center console area. If you reach into the back of the vehicle, under the seat, is where I felt it,
Under the rear seat?
under the rear seat, yes, ma'am.
And
Of the driver or the passenger?
It was right in the
Under the
center of the
rear
seat.
seat, not under the driver or passenger seat,
Which side of the vehicle left?
In the center of the seat.
of the rear cushion.
Yes,
Okay. And that's not an easily accessible location. Except for you going underneath the seat, feeling around.
I believe that it's easily accessible from the front of the vehicle if I just want to reach back here. And through my experience doing traffic stops, I've seen individuals reach into the back of vehicles and put things in the back seat. So I would,
Okay. We'll play. Is there a plug over there, Madam Court Reporter? It's quite a way away.
I have one on this side right here.
We stopped at 4:30. Yeah, we stopped at 4:30. And for the most part, that would be searching the rear driver's seat area, is that correct?
on the passenger side,
That was on the driver.
or on the driver's side, so.
So you didn't have any specific idea of what you were looking for, you were just looking for it.
Weapons and contraband there.
So you reached under and you couldn't
I
get it
felt-
out.
At that point, I felt the handgun, I couldn't get it out, because my
Okay,
hand was in the
so
trigger guard.
So in regards to it being easily accessible, you couldn't just reach under it and pull it out, is that correct?
Not without harming myself, that was my biggest concern, which is why I didn't just pull it out, because my hand was in the trigger guard when I put my hand in under the seat.
I did your video and.
Oh, I'm all right.
Yeah.
So you had to do some maneuvering to be able to lift up the seat, is that fair to say? While your body was okay.
So as I was gonna state, but I didn't want to speak over the video. If you see where my hand goes in a little, it appears it's easier for me to put my hand in there. That's where the handgun was. And when I put my hand in there, that's when I felt the gun. Okay, I didn't want to grab it out right then and there because my hand went into the trigger guard.
Okay, and right here.
So at that point, I
attempted
attempted to lift the seat so I could safely recover the firearm.
You couldn't do it just now. That you came out, you attempted to lift the seat, couldn't lift it, and then continued on in your efforts to lift the seat. That your infection.
I could not pull the seat all the way up. If you're asking how, if I could have retrieved the gun from where I was? Yes.
No, I'm asking you on this body cam, you were not able to just lift up the seat.
Pulling it from the far right side.
You can stop that. You do not know how that weapon or when that weapon, you do not know how that weapon got underneath the rear center seat, is that correct?
Correct.
You do not know when that weapon was placed under that seat, is that correct?
Correct.
You do not know by whom that weapon was placed under that seat, is that correct?
Correct.
And when you say you couldn't, when you say you felt the trigger, you're saying that you couldn't just grab the handle of the gun?
I stuck my hand under there, ma'am. Felt the weapon. My finger was in the trigger guard. I maneuvered my body, as you can see in the camera. I was maneuvering myself, trying to figure out how I could safely recover the weapon. The barrel was also pointed towards me.
How would you know where the barrel was pointed if you only felt the trigger?
Because I looked under the seat. When you see me moving around, I'm trying to figure out how I can safely get the firearm from under the seat.
And your body worn camera that show you bending down to the bottom of the seat.
My body worn cameras are fixed to the center of my chest, so it only has one angle.
Right, so where we see the angle of you moving around, we would be able to see the body worn camera going down to the seat as if you're looking under the seat. We didn't see it.
Can we play the video?
Can we talk about the relevance of this?
Well, actually, Your Honor, it goes into possession and knowledge. The location of the weapon.
I think Officer Mitchell made it clear that he felt the vehicle, we felt the firearm, and did not immediately retrieve it out of safety issues. We had to do more to maneuver to get the weapon eventually out of the vehicle. Is that accurate based off of what testimony both parties agree that?
Yes, but just in regards to him saying that he could tell which way the vehicle, the directions. If I could just ask a couple of questions. Okay. In your report, you did not state that you felt that the barrel or that the gun was facing out towards you in any manner, threat or harm. Is that fair to say? In your report.
Correct, I didn't state which way the barrel was facing.
And only after you recovered that weapon did you place Mr. McLean and the other individual under arrest?
I don't recall if I if I went and detained the individuals first and then recovered the firearm, or if I recovered the firearm out of the vehicle first because I was having a hard time. So I don't recall which one.
Well, in the video we saw, you had detained them at the front of your car and then went for a consent search. Is that fair to say?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, I thought you were asking when I placed them in handcuffs.
No, not
Okay, I'm sorry, my apologies.
the arrest. In regards to the actual arrest, that was only after you lifted up the seat and covered the firearm, the actually arrest. Based on your report, Mr. McLean or Mr. Will you refresh your recollection
Yes.
On the second page, when you said that you arrested Mr. Pine, is that fair to say?
Yes, he was arrested and I recovered the handgun.
No. Your report, it clearly says he was detained in handcuffs for further investigation and nothing about him being arrested on your first page.
Second page.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Agent searched and then after finding the weapon, arrested him. Is that correct?
Correct.
There's nothing further here.
Did you receive verbal consent to search the vehicle?
Yes.
Did that verbal consent specify any areas of the vehicle to search?
No.
Was it just a generalized
Yeah.
consent to search? Is the driving without insurance a
Yes.
and it is department policy to conduct an inventory search prior to impounding the vehicle?
Yes.
Was the vehicle impounded in this case?
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah. You hadn't put anywhere in your report that the vehicle was being impounded before you asked for consent to search, is that correct?
Correct.
And you specifically stated it was a consent search, not an inventory search, when you did that very intensive search of the vehicle, is that correct?
Correct.
Officer, Commissioner, you are.
Thank you, Your Honor.
The other witnesses for the vehicle.
No, Your Honor.
And then everybody.
Your Honor, at this time we would ask, we would move to bind over on count one, weapons carrying concealed. As we heard from the witness, per lien, a traffic stop was conducted as the lien results showed the vehicle was uninsured. Witness made contact with the driver, who failed to provide both the driver's license and proof of insurance. He provided insurance, but it was expired. At that point, the witness asked both passengers in the vehicle to step out of the vehicle. After he heard that from the driver that the vehicle was registered to his brother, he had been driving it for a year. After the passengers were out of the vehicle, he asked for consent to search the vehicle. This consent was given freely by the defendants, who stated he could search to see if there was anything in the vehicle that shouldn't be in there. It was the scope of the consent search. Witness then went into the vehicle. There he was able to feel under the back rear center seat. He believes to be the trigger of a firearm. For his safety, he then gets the other, he received help in lifting up the seat so that he could recover the firearm, rather than just simply pull out the firearm with his hand on the trigger. Which is definitely dangerous for the officer. At this point, the defendant did not provide a CPL. Main search was conducted. That showed that the defendant did not have a valid CPL. The vehicle was then towed and the defendant was arrested. People believe believe that they have met their burden of establishing probable cause and would ask to find out.
And of course, we went back to the Bible, Your Honor, specifically in regards to the stop, consent, and the search. While Officer Mitchell states that the stop was based on no assurance, in looking at the video, they were not even in a position to run the lean on that vehicle. There was another vehicle in front of the police vehicle, and only once the vehicle stopped, after he had already started following the vehicle, only after it stopped could you even see the license plate. So how or why they determined to follow this vehicle is not based on a lean of no insurance. He turned off another road, I can't remember the road, onto Warren. And when he turned onto Warren, there was another vehicle in front of Mr. McLean's vehicle. So saying, well, somebody ran a lean or did a search, that goes to credibility. The evidence is right there, clearly that didn't occur. Once the vehicle was stopped, they immediately got out of the vehicle, approached the vehicle, asking certain questions, asking for paperwork, asking for their own safety. And the court could see that in regards to the interaction with Mr. McLean as the driver, that there was smiling, there was interaction, there was questions answered. The officer says, well, he seemed nervous. Even if he did seem nervous, that is not enough for the search that the officer asks for consent to search. There are certain aspects that need to be looked at in regards to a consent to search. Is it truly consensual? Is it truly voluntary? And where the officer clearly detained Mr. McLean and the other individual, and they were not through the lead, that goes to the voluntariness and freedom of the consent search, especially in light of all the things that we see and know in regards to interactions with the police, especially as Black men. So the consent to search, we would say, is not freely and voluntarily, where he was clearly detained and could not leave. It'd be one thing if he was able to say, no problem, you can go. That was not the situation. He was in handcuffs at the front of the police car, and as Officer Mitchell stated, clearly detained. And while he says, well, I want consent to search for anything illegal, there was this recently, to the great pleasure of many defense counsel, determination by Michigan Supreme Court and appeals court that it is not sufficient for a hunch for you to say, well, I need consent to search for a hunch. It has to have reasonableness. And him saying, well, initially he seemed nervous to me. The video shows very clearly that he was very cooperative, as testified by Mr. Mitchell, for him to determine that he needed to do any further search. And as stated in his report, and it's easy for him to come into court some months later saying, well, it needs to be something else. This was not an inventory search. In his report, and as he stated, it was a consent search. Even getting that consent, it was not reasonable. But also for our purposes, the search and the location of the weapon. He says, well, I felt the trigger, and for my safety, I didn't feel it was safe for me to get, but he had to lift up the back seat. There's nothing to indicate, and he stated on the record, he knew who placed that weapon, when that weapon was placed, or how it was placed there. Even for a probable cause standard, you must show knowledge, possession, and or knowledge, and that cannot be shown in light of the extensive search and recovery that had to go on in this matter. So we would object to.
Here's testimony today from Sabree Mitchell from the Detroit Police Department of 3 years. Partners in our fully marked out car patrolling area, East Warren, in which he observed a vehicle of Chrysler after being corrected, Chrysler 200, in which the defendant was driving, and initiated a traffic stop based on a no insurance lien search. And Officer Mitchell testified that he made contact with the defendant, stated his reason for the traffic stop, introduced himself, asked if he had weapons in the vehicle, and the defendant said no. We also saw a video confirming that testimony. And after the defendant was asked to step out, in which he was cooperative, did not cause any issues, was asked to place his hands on the front of Officer Mitchell's vehicle. Officer Mitchell then asked if the defendant had anything in the car or would he find anything. He said no. After permission to search the vehicle, and Mr. McLean allowed for that search. And during that search, Officer Mitchell did do a very detailed search, which he lifted up the electrical parts of the vehicle where you roll the windows up and down, search through several compartments, if not all. In the back seat center area under the cushion, he was able to find, or felt first, a trigger of a handgun. And after discovering that handgun, he had a little more difficulty in pulling it out, and for his concern, he did not just pull it out with his finger on the side at that point, so I did not see on the video, of course, did not see it then, that he had to lift the seat up to pull the gun out. And throughout this testimony, before the defendant was asked about the vehicle, the defendant did not provide a valid driver's license or valid insurance. The defendant also stated that the car was registered to his brother, but that it was his vehicle for about a year. The defendant's vehicle for a year, he was driving. The defendant did not seem nervous to me. I didn't see his stomach rising or breathing. He seemed very calm to me, very friendly. So the question here is about, for me, the first thing was stop. Without the video, I was questioning how the stop could have been done so quickly. And in the beginning of the video, I didn't even quite understand how stop was to take place. However, once I heard the audio, Officer Mitchell walked up to Mr. McLean and stated, I pulled your car over for no insurance and for the car being registered to an unlicensed driver. And although I would not be able to read a plate as quickly as the testimony here in the video shows, the information that he relayed, Officer Mitchell relayed to the defendant, was accurate, that there was no insurance and there was someone else's vehicle. So that was my first question, but I believe through the video, I was able to feel somewhat comfortable about the stop and how it got to the stop. It was very quick, I will say that on the record. And it was very quick how the officer and his partner were able to identify the insurance. So now we get to the documents that were not being provided. So at this time, no insurance was provided, no driver's license. The defendant was asked about the vehicle. Once stepped out, asked about the weapons, said he did not have any weapons. And the key part here is that Mr. McLean consented to a search. It was not confined. I don't know if Mr. McLean knew that he had the right to do that, to say that he can only search parts of the car. There was nothing in the video that showed that he restricted Officer Mitchell's ability to search the vehicle. And Officer Mitchell took full consent and searched every part of the vehicle. Also, because of the no insurance, Officer Mitchell said that he impounded the vehicle as well. That wasn't his initial statement when he made his report, but he did say that the vehicle was not allowed to operate on the road because of no insurance. Mr. McLean did not provide CPL when asked about it after the bill was covered. And the last issue that defense counsel brought up was possession. So this case would be considered constructive possession. And that is going to be questioned back, trier back to determine whether or not the defendant had knowledge and ability to control, have dominion and control over the gun that hidden in the middle under cushion of the vehicle. Now, I can't say whether or not I'll be able to reach to it based on the video. It seemed accessible, but I believe that across the street, that's going to be a question for Trier Tech to answer. I do think that people have met their burden, probable cause to bind them, Mr. McLean over on all counts. And I think that there are some questions that we answered across the street. However, the low burden over here was established. And so, Mr. McLean, I'm going to have you bound over to Third Circuit for an arraignment on the information. Your date will be February 8th at 9 o'clock, okay? Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you. And I do apologize for the, I have your purse. Thank you. I didn't want to sit out there. Thank you.
I know, she was.
It was heavy.
I don't know